We're back for our final game of the EU Masters 2020 Summer Group Stage. I'm Penguin, this is Ox, and this is a pretty important game.
Yeah, this has been the ramp up, this has been the big one, this is the important one, and it's sort of two very different scenarios. We either have outright set in stone group where Mouz at the top, then it's Game as Origin, and Fnatic go home, as are the dreams of the NLC, 7 different countries, and myself. But on the other side, we have the 3-way tiebreaker scenario where Mouz still gets to go on, but the other 2 will fight it out and then look to contest that #1 spot. So it all comes down to this one game, and who wins?
Yeah, it's nothing more than that. It's as simple as Fnatic Rising need a win. They have the destiny in their own hands. They need a win. Get a win, you have a chance.
Yep.
For the side of Mouz, you're looking to secure #1 seed. You're looking to kind of say, look, we're not just good in our group, we're good in the tournament, and we are looking to go all the way. Also, as we said before the break, they are the only DACH region team to have secured a seed thus far. Yep. Gamer Legion still have to play tomorrow in tiebreakers to try and get that one. But overall, it's very hard to call this because you looked at the first, say, maybe 3 games of the day, you're probably like, all right, cool, we know how this one's going to go. And then we saw a very good performance out of Intrepid Fox against Mouz, and then we saw a very good performance from Fnatic against Intrepid Fox, and then it's honestly very hard to see how this one's going to go.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's been volatility in this group, and it's been one team's on top, then another, and it's a hard call at this point. We will have to see. We are going into draft at this point, so often see the Lucian banned away against Fnatic Rising, versatility between multiple lanes, and a large amount of pressure. Caitlyn going to be denied on blue side, so we haven't seen xMatty prioritize Caitlyn nearly as much. We've seen a lot of Ezreal, Karthus, but it's a weird ban to have on blue side, and mousesports answer back with a Shen. I firmly believe Fnatic, it's not a Fnatic comp without a global. They've been playing so many of them. So Shen, probably the strongest global to take off the cards already.
And Akali going to be the final ban from the side of Fnatic Rising. What do mousesports want to lead open? They will not leave open the Kalista. They saw what that did in that game against Intrepid Fox. So right now, Fnatic, I feel like you're kind of leaning it towards the Ashe or even the Ezreal for xMatty in this bot side.
Yeah, I don't think there's a huge priority to take this here. I actually feel like you could potentially go with the Hecarim right now, just because, you know, there's the Caitlyn's off the table, the Kalista's off the table. There's not a huge priority on contesting those AD carries. You know you'll get one of them. And ultimately, you let Mouz say, okay, you take pick, we'll answer.
Okay, they do lock in the Hecarim. Where's your crystal ball at, man? You have all these predictions going in, and
that is a fast answer.
That is a very fast answer. Too fast for you to even predict. Senna and Galio, and they're taking Galio away from Bravado, who has had 2 very different games today.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the Galio, the global pressure is a big factor, and also the CC is very limiting for a champion like the Hecarim, and Senna a great neutralizer, a lot of scaling aspects and the utility as well. But if we look at all these AD carries taken away, Ashe stands out as the strongest left available, and Maddie will secure that one. Now, you don't know where the Galio is going to be, so I would not take support in this situation necessarily. You could think we're going to take some high prio, but there's a lot still left open, only Thresh taken. Maybe a mid laner, if you don't want Chibs pool to get funneled down, could be an option.
Qiyana is open.
Qiyana's open, but I'm not sure if you necessarily want to blind that in this situation. You could lean into something like the LeBlanc or the Orianna is a bit more blindable, but we'll have to see. You could just go for the support here, and Taric is something I completely glossed over. It's banned away. I said
it's literally banned 5 out of 6 games.
It's banned so much, but it's not banned. You completely forget. And the Taric will get taken, and Leader very quickly answers with the Sylas. Now, this is interesting because we actually have seen Taric left open before for Bravado by Mouz, and they picked Sylas, and you know what Sylas can do? Steal ultimate. So pretty good one to steal, and Leader very comfortable in this champion. It does mean that that Galio is very likely going to be in a support role, and it's very likely the Sylas in the mid lane, not the top lane. And bans come through. They hammer away at that LeBlanc away from Chibs, and Irgot going to be denied from Tolkin. Zoe, another champion that Chibs picked up. Kind of thinning out the pool once more. And for Fnatic Rising, you could go for a jungler in this situation if you want to target towards Obsess, or alternatively, you could just look towards Tolkin once more. Camille maybe is something that syncs up really well with the Galio. And as well, if you're playing like side lane matchups with the Sylas and the Camille, having 2 globals in the bot lane is a massive asset for that.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And you can see there, focusing towards that top side, making sure that Tolkin does not get any kind of lane bully with that Urgot or the set being locked away. Now, where do you want to go for mousesports? Do you look
jungle, 100%.
I was going to say, do you look to try and keep your top lane for the bot, for the counter pick, or do you look to try and lock in their jungle? It looks like they're going to lock in their jungler here. Plenty on the board here, so lots of options for Obsess to go for.
Yeah, and I mean, Jarvan makes sense in terms of dealing with an Ashe and having the Galio follow-up. Really good engage potential. And a lot of dive threat for Fnatic Rising. Now, Taric typically a good answer, but if you fall behind, the ult just ends up coming too late. We haven't seen too much Jarvan in the meta as much. It has slipped out a bit, but it's a fine blind, has that early pressure, and I'm now looking towards Tolkin in the top lane. And what will Pride pick to sort of mitigate him? So we're kind of edging out on Chibs' pool here. Limited options left from what we've seen so far. But that's the thing, we haven't seen much of Chibs. But he's actually going to go for the Qiyana here.
Ooh, okay, this is exciting for me. For you who don't know, Qiyana is pretty much the only thing he's played all solo queue, and this is his final moment to actually lock this in. I'm so happy to see this.
Yep, so big pick, and as well into the Jarvan. You come into that Cataclysm, perfect wall to sort of knock people into. Now, finally, for Pride, it's something that you want to be able to blind, but still offer enough pressure. Because I can see Tolkin taking something like the Camille here. They're going to go with the Kennen. Huge teamfight potential. Again, if you're diving into that, that is dangerous.
I was just about to say, this straight up from Fnatic is, you want to jump on top of us? That's fine. We will let you jump on top of us, and that engages all of our ult. The Supreme Display of Talent, the Taric ultimate, of course, as well, along with the Slicing Maelstrom. You have a lot of counter to what Mouz is going for right now. However, there's a hell of a lot of AoE damage coming in from Mouz with that Vladimir pick.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's the thing, is that I'm looking at the Camille, but they take the Kennen, and you go, cool, well, I'll just counter that. And Vladimir, you don't really have the laning pressure to deal with the Vladimir early, and once he hits those later game points, he will crush you in the side lane. He will absolutely destroy you in the side lane. So it's very much going to be around these team fights, which Fnatic do fine in. Their team fight is very good, which I'm happy to see, because that is something they often lean on. But Mouz have solid team fight as well. It's nothing to ignore there.
This is straight up team fight versus team fight. We are going to see 5v5s pretty damn early on in this game. I think once all level 6s are hit, we should see these two teams lock horns as they go for it. And right now, as you said, I am happy to see Fnatic going for a team fighting composition. I'm happy to see them pick up options that will enable them to move their carries around the map. And this is the big moment for Chibs, in my opinion. This is it. You got your Qiyana.
You got your pick, yeah.
You got your Qiyana. You have a massive opportunity to really push forward against arguably one of the best mid laners, if not the best mid laner in Neo Masters in Leader.
Yeah, I mean, Leader is someone who will challenge you. I mean, we think back to when Mouz and Fnatic last faced off. We saw Sylas into Renekton. And you're thinking Renekton should crush that, and he didn't. Magifelix, the main mid for this Fnatic Rising team, unable to apply pressure when he had counterpick in this situation. And yes, Chibs on a signature champ, but got his work cut out for him in this situation.
We are on to the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. Fnatic Rising versus Mouz. Again, Mouz win, they are top seed. Fnatic Rising lose, they are out, and so are NLC as a region.
Wow.
And overall, it's got a lot going on here. I don't even know where to start with this one here.
We just received an update. Apparently,
yes, we have.
My maths was off.
How off was your quick maths?
Minute 50.
A minute 50. So, from the update we can see, as of the moment, the current game time for Gamers Origin, 101 minutes and 36 seconds.
Why do I do this? Why do I make these statements? Why do I try and do the math when I'm in a rush?
You need to leave it for Ellis. Ellis is the maths man. Yeah, he is the maths man, because if he gets it wrong, it's a really big problem. If we get it wrong, we just look silly. But to finish it off, update on game times, official from Riot, not from us, unfortunately. Gamers Origin, 101 minutes and 36 seconds. mousesports, 103 minutes and 26 seconds. So, if mousesports are to lose this one, they will fight against Fnatic Rising in the gauntlet to try and fight against Gamers Origin for that, basically for qualification and seeding. Apologies for the slight little bit of miscommunication. We tried to do the maths. You actually had an entire notebook dedicated to the maths.
The thing is, I did it once, and then I didn't double check it because I was in a rush to get up here to cast. But, I mean, this is why I dropped out of university and I'm here casting instead.
There you go, kids. Stay in school. Stay in school, kids, as we... Maths was not our strongest point. I say for the two of us. I just blindly believe
I used to be good at maths. Whatever.
I think I'm still good at maths.
There's a game happening. It's cool. We've been updated. We made a statement. I'm sorry. Okay, I deceived you. I'm sorry. Now we go to the game. Say.
And now we are into the game. You can see already Chibs and Leader kind of going toe-to-toe already. And a cheeky little blue buff steal there. Red to blue there for Obsess means he does get himself a nice buff steal. And that is actually pretty significant against a Hecarim. Wants to be able to kind of spam those rampages, and he won't be able to do that, unfortunately, now. Especially early on, and looks like already you can see Mouz.
Dive.
Yeah, they've got a huge wave in bot side.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the third wave dive when you have that cannon built up. There's going to be a ward to spot this out, but there's not too much time to get away in this situation.
They should be all right, though.
Yeah,
They've got themselves away. There's the hawk shot just to confirm where leader is, and that just opened up the map a little bit for Dan to try and regain some of that CS he has lost.
Yeah, but it does mean plate goes down in the bot lane. Jeskla getting a pretty significant CS lead, and xMatty's only turning up now to answer. He's already chunked out. Remember, Senna has a lot of same, but actually tower hit going to be taken.
Ooh, need to be very close. That's 2 tower hits. They've actually just equal out the health bars, and a heal has to be committed there. A little bit of an overstep from Mouz.
Yeah, just a bit too far. Minions dying out, and a good stun from Bravado, but the thing is here, xMatty is still too low, and actually promisq's looking for him. He's going to try and stop this recall. This would be devastating.
He's going to try and go for the stop of the recall, but not able to find it. Winds of War not quite really going to be able to reach that one, and it's also very dangerous should he not be able to stop that recall. Might be end up getting caught between a rock and a hard place, but overall, mousesports taking the advantage in this bot lane. You can see it's about a 20 CS or so there now, but because of that early roam from leader, he has to commit his teleport to the mid lane, and that means that Chibs does have a little bit of an advantage coming into that kind of combat summoners.
Yeah, I'm gonna one thing. Oh, actually potentially seeing something here.
Oh, he commits with the heroes or the Justice Punch as well. That means the flash almost certainly going to have to come out. He does commit it. So we can see up on the top side in the picture-in-picture, Vlad and Kennen just going at each other as much as they possibly can. Vlad yet to go back. The Kennen did go back very briefly. You can see Obsess roaming up towards this top side. Obsess is really trying to get his lanes going. You talked about the early pressure this Jarvan can bring, and that's flag and drag EQ combo is very, very potent, especially early on.
Yeah, and I think this is Obsess's style. He's a very gank-heavy jungler, which isn't super suited to the current meta, but he finds success because his laners are so strong, so accomplished. And if you facilitate them, they will deliver for you. Now, Pride's still low on HP, hasn't had an opportunity to recall and TP back in. Does put him in a rough spot.
Not a lot of mana here for leader. He's just trying to trade. So we can see Chibs trading just as effectively back, but needs to be very careful as there is a Galio roaming around. He has Hex flashed over. He has no flash available. He gets pushed back almost towards the tower, and they should be able to pick that one up. First blood to Chibs.
And Chibs says, thank you very much, you know. Trying to find some success in the lane against leader, but I think one of the big things is this matchup gets a bit harder if leader's able to get the Seeker's Arm Guard, build up that early armor. It becomes very difficult. But here, I mean, promisq just...
Spotted.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, observers.
I mean, there's 2 wards here. It's very distinctly obvious someone is there. And so Fnatic make the move to respond. And promisq... I mean, this is just... You're Hex flashing in, you got no flash to get out. Does taunt here, and that just pulls down to charge you backwards. And after the Aftershock wears out, very easy to finish off that kill.
Nicely done there for Fnatic. Like you said, nice easy little kill going over to Chibs. He gets himself a serrated Dirk, which is very nice considering that leader is going to be building towards that Seeker's Arm Guard, like you said. And overall, you're feeling pretty good now if you're on the side of Fnatic. You're going to be able to stop this Dragon attempt as well and just pepper promisq with a little bit of damage as well with that Ashe. But overall, not looking terrible. Mouz looking to try and see if they can pick up the pace a little bit. Not really gelling as well as they wanted to, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is some good play from both sides, but the big thing I'm looking towards is the advantage bot lane isn't super significant as of now. The Ashe is 10 CS down, but the fact that you have a Taric means that your lane does scale extremely well. And then in the mid lane, it's the fact that no armor's been picked up yet for leader. Qiyana is roaming down here as well with Dan already there. Oh,
they're trying to get on top of them here. Justice Punch used away, but he gets knocked back straight away, and that's going to be promisq almost certainly falling. He will go down. TP going to be committed here for Vlad, and the TP going to be responded to by the Kennen as they're trying to go for a full damn fight. Hecarim is there. It's actually 2 kills straight away for leader. Had to commit his flash, but he does have the Onslaught of Shadows in the back pocket, and that means Fnatic Rising need to back away.
What was Pride waiting for? I'm not sure. I'm not sure in all honesty, but whoever TPs first tends to come out ahead. But Chibs looking again here.
Oh, they're looking to try and catch them out. He will go into the Sanguine pool. Flash is burned as well, but now Fnatic Rising need to try to run away. Full on onslaught of shadows, but that's a supreme display of talent. Into the slicing maelstrom. They kill off leader, and now can they continue this fight? The Ashe is untouched and just pushing forward. You can see Chibs pushing in. He has got his Q to keep him invisible, and now it's just Jeskla, and it's going to be xMatty. He's not able to finish him off, and Jeskla now finds him in face first with a pony, but the dawning shadow and the flash away means he should be able to keep himself alive, but not for much longer. Dan picks him up. This is a hell of a close game.
What a skirmish there between both teams. Just members going in, going out, trying to find the momentum. Chibs doing so much work. You can see why this Qiyana was banned away from him. And initially they go into promisq. It's not synced super well with Dan. Dan ends up going in and taking a ton of damage here, but getting caught up in the mix. But this is when the TP comes in. And we're waiting, and we're waiting. And it's only now that the channel starts from Pride in the situation. It's just way too late. And you can see by the time he joins, Bravado's died, Dan's died, Pride's like, well, I'm out of here. But a bit more for play comes in because Tolkin overstays, Chibs looks for an opportunity, and the critical moment here is he's waiting for the pool to expire, and he just misses there. Otherwise, he would have got the kill. Leader feeling confident with the Hecarim ult goes in, but using the brushes so well here. Just watch how many times Chibs sells. That's one. He's invisible right now, unable to find him. Does end up going away there, but goes in once more, invisible again, and it's just all that time they can't do any damage to him. These auto-attack based champions are sat waiting, and you think Matty's getting away, just ends up getting caught out by the ult, the level up from Jeskla critical. Just some really beautiful skill expression from different members there, and it ended up being a pretty even play.
Even play does mean that Rift Herald, though, goes over to the side of Mouz. It is traded equally for the Mountain Drake on the side of Fnatic Rising. It is a just under 1,000 gold lead here for Fnatic Rising. Almost going to jump up a little bit here as well, as they have got the Rift Herald dropping off. They had 4 members up to this top side just to make sure they got absolutely every single bit of plating, every single bit of gold, and it's going straight onto Tolkin's Vladimir.
Yeah, I mean, Tolkin and Jeskla are getting that, and those are definitely the best members to be able to pick up those gold. So huge benefit from Mouz in this situation to get the reset, get the top side, get the Herald, and then make quick use of it. And you can see already this top lane matchup, there's a sizable lead for Tolkin. He's level 8, he's got 20% CDR in his items from the Kindle Gem and the Phoenix Codex. And the thing is, level 9, his transfusion maxes. So shortest cooldown it'll get from leveling. Level 10, he has Transcendence in his runes. Another 10% CDR. That is really where the Vlad just becomes so hard for the Kennen to deal with, because any damage you put down onto him, he just out-heals.
Not only that, I'm assuming as well, he will have, you know, potentially just straight up damage to deal with this Kennen. Kennen going towards that, what I think is the Hextech Gunblade, and hasn't yet to finish off the cull, so still waiting for that gold to come into that item there. I don't have a problem with the Hextech Gunblade, but it's definitely geared towards a split push rather than a team fight.
I think you need it to deal with the Vlad, though. I think it's one of those things where it's like, if you don't have a Gunblade, your side lane potential is over, and ultimately, if he finds the right angle in a team fight, he'll still have his impact, but the big problem I'm seeing is how he's going to deal with his side lane now. Do you see Dan potentially looking down here, but Obsess is waiting in the wings as well.
Drop down a pink ward into the Tribush, which does, of course, spot out pretty definitively that Dan is sitting around here. Bravado trying to see if promisq is baiting or if he's just looking for something else. They do not know where Obsess is.
promisq would never position like this if he didn't have backup, but Chibs has now moved down.
Yeah, they're going to use the teleport as well. That is going to be the Sylas joining on top of this, so it will be Leader. There is the ultimate from the Taric. They jump straight on top of Leader, but there's so much healing, and they're able to steal the Taric ultimate and keep 3 people alive. It's a disaster for Fnatic Rising. They can't get the damage down, they can't get any kills, and it's 3 for the side of Mouz. Fantastic counterplay coming in from the dock region.
Oh, it looks like there's going to be another.
It's almost certainly going to be another one here. They're just waiting for the invisibility to wear off. He should have his Q up almost any second now. There it is. Not quite enough damage. Will the Demacian Standard do it? It will not. And they do get themselves out with just losing 3, but a big turnaround there. Great fight from Mouz.
3-0, more plates on the back of that. And it's just, you saw the momentum starting to go in favor of Fnatic Rising, but then the stolen Taric, the critical thing, Mouz again taking Sylas into Bravado's Taric. It just gives them that super powerful ult to utilize, and Leader used it perfectly in that situation. I think the thing there was Fnatic felt confident. They're bringing Chibs down first, but there's no way Mouz commit to that play. They have promisq of position so aggressively without a plan.
Yeah, they're going to see the transfusion, and of
gone.
course, yeah, he's just straight up dead. They're going to try and see if they can trade it, though, but I don't think you can right now. As I say that, though, they are going to get that one over to Chibs. He was roaming himself all flash burned as well onto Tolkin. However, that is not a great situation if you're on the side of Fnatic Rising. You're losing in the side lanes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a one-for-one, so at least the gold's gone on a Chibs, which is valuable, but Vladimir just got another just got a kill. It's looking rough right now for Fnatic Rising. 4,000 gold down, and the team fighting really is strong from both sides here. Mouz have shown that.
And out of nowhere, we're looking at a 3,500 gold lead now for the side of Mouz. They are the ones that have the potential to be able to turn this one all the way around, get themselves that guaranteed #1 seed going into the quarterfinals. And for Fnatic, this is your one and only chance to even try and attempt to get to quarterfinals. You have to win here, otherwise you're going home.
Yep.
NLC's done. And for Fnatic Rising, the first time they will ever in the history of the EU Masters and them participating in it, not make it to, at minimum, the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I mean, in spring...
Oh, not quite great.
In spring, it was the first time we saw Fnatic not make it to semifinals. And if it continues on that trend, and this is the first time they don't even make it out of groups, it's a massive hit. It's a very clear downward trend in that sense. So it's huge for them to get that win. But right now, Mouz are looking on top. 4,000 gold lead. You see leader hunting around with that Qiyana ult. Huge CC chain and damage can come out as a result of that. And Fnatic, you can very much see they've just gone much more defensive. They're playing quite far back. They're just trying to mitigate pressure onto their towers. They are very much scared of the engage potential and the threat in these skirmishes from Mouz. Mouz moving their vision control up in the red side jungle, and meaning Dan doesn't have an opportunity to farm, and he's playing the farming jungler. He's even in CS for Obsess, but Obsess is taking this chance to steal away some of these camps.
Stealing away some camps and also getting a lot of those kills. You can see 2, 1, and 6, very close to 100% kill participation. The only one he missed was literally that solo kill up in topside for the Vladimir, so definitely a pivotal part of Mouz's plan as they take themselves a Cloud Drake, equaling that one up. We are going to have ourselves an Ocean Rift, and this is where things get a little scary now for both sides. I feel like if either team gets that dragon, they are going to be in some serious... Oh, no. Oh, xMatty. He has got himself a Blade of the Rune King active, but a Cataclysm straight on is going to force his flash, and that is a flashless Ashe, which is not a fun time if you're an AD carry.
Yeah, I mean, it's really painful playing the Ashe in this game with so many things that are threatening to an immobile carry, and ultimately, you're not allowed to step up there in this situation. The vision line from Mouz has been pushed up. You don't have safety to step up past your tier 2 tower without protection from the team, and ultimately, it wasn't there. And one of my concerns with the Taric when it's behind is that Taric is a great champion when you're ahead, because the enemy team looks at you and says, we can't engage to have Taric ult. But when you're behind, it's kind of like you have to preemptively Taric ult, and then it ends up getting wasted in a lot of scenarios. It's like, if you see Tolkin walking towards your backline and he's got flash, you have to just Taric ult, because if you don't, by the time it comes down, you'll have already lost your carry, especially Tolkin just picked up a Bravadons.
Yeah, straight up AP power up in this top side. And you can see just how much he's doing. It's a good trade back, though, here from Pride. Does force out the ultimate, but there is a missed Dawning Shadow from the bot side.
I mean, I think it shows how not close that fight is. And already, Tolkien's just healed up back on full HP, and Pride has to run away. Good restraint not to use the flash or the ultimate, but it's not looking good in the side lane. It's not looking good in the team fight right now. Fnatic Rising, I want to say they just need more time for this gold difference to eke out, but ultimately they're giving time to a Senna, to a Vladimir. It's not necessarily a good situation. You know, you want to be playing around the Qiyana now, but when you're this far behind, it's rough to see the opportunities, the windows, and you can very much tell the style of play Fnatic has shifted, a lot more defensive, playing around your own base, and ultimately just gives free reign for Mouz to take whatever they please.
We'll give a small caveat, of course, to Fnatic Rising. They didn't just trade a dragon and lose nothing, or gain nothing. They did take themselves a Rift Herald that is potential for a tower, and we always say potential because it has to be utilized correctly. Or you maybe use it as pressure while going for a dragon play. There's a lot of different ways you can use that second dragon, but overall, Dan, he's the guy we highlighted as the guy to lift up this Fnatic Rising team. If they are going to come out with a win here, he's the guy who has to step up, and it's not looking incredible against, you know, the kind of mousesports right now, and it's, oh my god, there's just so much damage straight back, and it's a bit unfortunate if you're on Pride right now because Hemoplague comes out and he's just dead. He just died straight away. TP coming in. There's going to be the ult from the Galio and from the Jarvan as well. They jump straight on top of xMatty, but he's very, very good at just keeping himself alive with the play of the Ruined King. They do land the Cosmic Radiance on top of 3. They will only lose 1. They gain a couple of the big key ultimates away from the side of Mouz, but overall, Mouz just looking comfortable in their own side of the jungle, of Fnatic's jungle.
I mean, you can see how aggressive they're able to play, and Leader's looking for more. No Taric available. This is an easy dive.
Onslaught of Shadows is available. Hasn't got himself a minion wave just yet. They will stun him up with the Dazzle. He's forced to flash away, and this could be a little bit of a problem here. Flash over, taunt does land. Can they get the turnaround? They cannot, as Leader picks himself up a double. You cannot discount this, Sylas. And again, Mouz taking more advantages away from Fnatic Rising.
Yeah, they're just crushing them at this point. Matty, dead again.
Oh, he's absolutely dead. Flash into the Demacian Standard and the Q, and they're going to be able to take up as much as they like. And you can see Tolkin just keeping Pride busy in this top side. It doesn't matter if you go 1 for 1 in this trade because that's all he needs to do. The Dawning Shadow, not quite able to land it. They do land themselves. The flash and
you can see it. That's the thing with Vlad.
Games.
You can see your demise because you can see when the transfusion's about to come up available, and it came up. Tolkien executed, and this is just decimation at this point. This is no room being given to Fnatic Rising. They're trying to answer back. You saw Chibs trying to go for the ult inside that Cataclysm. You saw them trying to look for a pick on a Leader, and Mouz just hit them even harder. I mean, initially this play looks like a bit of an overextension. A lot of teams would wait for the wave to crash. Not Mouz and not Leader. He does have to flash out, but it's here where promisq comes in to save the day, and it gives space for Leader to use that Kingslayer, get the healing in, get the execution, and there's no real answer in this situation for Fnatic Rising. Too far behind. And then Matty, he just got back from base. He just got back from base. He's like, okay, guys, I'm here to defend the tower. And then 2 seconds later, yeah, he got it.
We saw this with Mouz as well in their earlier game against Gamers Origin. With the Ashe is so easy to dive on top of without that flash. Once the flash is burned, that's 5 minutes. You can't really do anything with the Ashe because there's just so much of a threat coming in from the side of any of the champions, really, that Mouz kind of put out on top of this. And overall, it just feels like Mouz have an answer to anyone who wants to try and prioritize that Ashe pick.
Yeah, I mean, they just absolutely crush it. They don't give any room. Dive is really Mouse's expertise, and I'm concerned about this.
Yeah, Hemoplague does end up getting the kill on top of Pride. They will get the shutdown. That's about nearly 1,000 going over to Dan. That should finish up as Triforce, but they lose the Dragon. They have mid-wave pushing into them, so they may gain a tower for a tower, but overall, those Dragons are stacking.
Yeah, I mean, that's worth. You know, that is actually worth the fact they got a big shutdown and they get a tower, but it never feels good for your Kennen to be this weak and the enemy Vlad this strong. So that's actually worth, but it still feels awful that that's what we have to call worth for Fnatic Rising. And
0-5 for Pride.
Yeah,
but
they're still showing they're looking for these plays.
Why are you there, my friend?
He has flash this time.
He does have flash, but he has to wait for the Cataclysm to come down before he can really use it. Now he has to try and just keep himself away. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is stolen, and that means that he's just not going to use his flash at all.
I respect the decision not to use the flash. I don't think it'd get you out in that scenario.
No.
And as well, Enchanted Crystal Arrow actually has a pretty high AP ratio, so it does a lot of damage for Leader as well. It's not just the stun, it does a fair chunk on top of that. There's a lot of good ult options in all honesty for Leader. Like, if I had to put together a tier list,
Honestly, I think all of them are fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you are definitely spoiled for choice in this situation. You want some engage, you want some team fighting, you want the peel of the Cosmic Radiance. You definitely have a wealth of choices. And Fnatic not even able to utilize their ults as well as Leader is using them often with the AP scaling on the Hecarim, on the Ashe, and honestly, for Pride as well, the fact that he's got an item and a half compared to Leader, who's significantly far ahead. Now, it's actually gone the Zhonya's and the stopwatch on top of it. So if you thought it was hard to kill before, it's just got even more difficult.
We're at 22 minutes almost, and it's an 8,000 gold lead almost, probably a little bit more, like just shy of it even. Like, it's just absolutely crazy just how much. And thank you, observers. Absolutely no vision on this Baron. The only saving grace, I suppose, you could put in top of this, as we see Hemoplague and Slicing Maelstrom both committed. They will trade off one. Will he be able to trade for another? It's going to be a little bit harder, but he has to commit another ultimate. But that is a go sign for Baron on top of Mouz. Now, they do not take this very fast at all. That's the big problem with having a Senna as your carry.
And at this point, you're so far ahead, the only way you lose this game is by a Baron throw. You think about the Qiyana ultimate at that Baron, it is devastating. So no reason to risk it. You're not concerned about scaling. You have a lot of scaling elements to your composition. You're not concerned about Fnatic suddenly getting back in the game or closing the goal lead because it's so monumentally huge, you're comfortable. No reason to risk it.
I will say, despite Tolkin killing Pride 1v1 effectively all the time, Pride's worth probably nothing in terms of gold.
A lot less, yes,
He's worth a hell of a lot less. So they're gaining more gold for killing. I'm clutching at
that's
straws
what I mean.
right
like,
now.
It's worth, but it doesn't feel good.
No,
you know?
yes, absolutely. But
it's like when someone on your team's 0-6 and they die and then you trade for someone who's valuable, you're like, it's worth, but like, we still have a 0-6 member of our team. It's less than optimal.
obviously, but like, even looking towards this, you're looking at Mouz, 5-1-5 onto the Sylas, 4-1-8 onto the Senna, 2-1-8 onto the Jarvan. These guys are just not dying. They're only catching out Tolkin when he overextends, when he goes for those kind of 1v1 skill check kind of setups. And I just feel like even if you're trading that 1-for-1, you're still so damn far behind.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see the individual goal differences because I think that's really the big stark comparison. It's 2,700 in the top lane, just shy of 2,000 in the mid lane. Bot lane, it's over 2,000, and it's just
Yeah, it's thank you very much.
Across the board, it's only really the
observers.
jungle, but you got to remember that Dan have to go Triforce, a much more expensive item compared to Obsess's cheap tank stuff, so it's just not looking good. It is not looking good for Fnatic Rising. They need a miracle team fight or a pick like this.
Here we go. They do get the supreme display of talent. Taric picks up the shutdown. It's still a kill, and they don't lose anyone bot lane. Positives for Fnatic. Mouz, however, should be able to take this tower.
Yeah, I mean, Dan's trying to defend in this situation, but realistically, you know he's going to give this one up. No way you go in 1v4. But, I mean, again, it's a good pick coming out from Fnatic Rising. They're finding these windows to get kills. It's a big shutdown. Again, unfortunately, on the Taric. But you'll take it in these scenarios. And the one big saving grace for Fnatic Rising is that one Mountain Dragon. It's the one thing denying that soul from being 16 seconds away. Because if Mouz had picked up that dragon, I feel like the game would probably just be over when Soul comes in. But they're actually not moving towards the dragon. They're positioning around Baron initially, making sure they have vision control on it, escorting promisq up there, and then they'll rotate down and get control. And you see Fnatic, they know they can't contest this at dragon. They want to pull them away to the Baron area and at least clear some of the vision out so they have some semblance of control.
Highly unlikely that Fnatic do actually start this one up. They're just trying to get themselves a vision, as you said, but kind of taking a step back, looking at this as a region versus region thing, this could be a massive blow to the NLC as a whole if Fnatic Rising don't even make it out of quarters. We talked about pretty much extensively when people talked about this kind of whole thing as Dawning Shadow comes up just to scout, but people were very surprised and perplexed when the NLC only got 2 seeds. And right now, honestly, that decision's looking justified. It's not looking great.
Yeah.
I don't mean to. I'm not trying to bring you down, buddy. I have no horse in this race. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I'm just saying that right now it does feel like Fnatic Rising. They have a lot of pressure on them right now to try and keep going forward.
And it's fair. And I think, you know, this is going to sound like a cop out, but I think the reality is Mouz are just damn good. I think Gamers Origin are pretty good too, but I think Mouz are just really a stellar team. Yes, this looks rough for Fnatic Rising. A lot of people are like, why are Fnatic Rising looking so bad? Why they're losing? Well, because they're against probably one of the front runners for the entire tournament, I'll be in all honesty. And now those front runners are on the Baron, so they're trying to contest.
They are trying to contest, but there's a great Cataclysm on top of the Grand Entrance as well. They do land the Taric ultimate to keep him alive. A slicing Maelstrom in between 4 of them. The flash in from Leader. The supreme display of talent does land, but it's just too much damage. They can't get it all down. They're too far behind. It's a clean ace coming in from the side of Mouz. Triple kill for Tolkin. The Hemoplague just too much. That was it. That was what you needed, and it was a perfect turn-off from Mouz.
I mean, honestly, I feel like this fight was actually a good fight for Fnatic, but they're just so far behind. You can see the ult comes in, they manage to disengage and use the Taric xMatty. Great movement here to avoid Leader with the flash, and he starts to put out DPS. Beautiful ult coming in from Pride, this supreme display of talent as well is great, but it's not enough. Everyone survived from Mouz, and that's the problem. Everything went right for Fnatic, I feel, and they still lost the team fight.
Yeah, I feel like that right there was the 8,000 gold lead that is now in 11,000.
Slapping them with the wallet.
Yep, slapping with the wallet. It was just so much damage, so many ultimates that I just could not get them all out at the same time.
And I think it's just,
it's just so hard.
You picture a scenario where the Kennen isn't 0-7, and that ult would have been devastating. You picture a scenario where the Qiyana wasn't dealing with, double Zhonyas and Ninja Tabi on Jeskla and the tanky Obsess and promisq. Again, that could have been it, but I think that shows how doomed it is looking right now. 11,000 gold lead for Mouz. They're looking to go for that final push into the base.
Yep, they've got themselves a Baron buff minion. They've got themselves a decent-sized wave. They're pushing in for the win to go 5-1, secure that first seed. It will mean there are no tiebreakers. Enchanted Crystal Arrow does miss. They use the Onslaught of Shadows. They're trying to pick off on the Vladimir, but there's just no damage available to them. They will end up losing their 2 carries. Everyone else is just being taken down. It is a clinical finish to this. Fnatic Rising will fall in the group stage for the first time, but mousesports will rise to the cream of the crop, #1 in Group D. And that is a big statement coming out from the dock #1.
A hard group, in all honesty. A lot of people look at this group and they said it's a stacked group. It's going to be hard to come out on top. Gamers Origin were kind of like the hidden sleeper team because they weren't the first seed from the LFL, but they are first in points in their regular season. And Mouz come out on top convincingly as well. Their games today, it made it very clear the team that they are. The team that can handle Gamers Origin, the team that can handle Fnatic Rising. It was convincing.
Yeah, and we will break that down a little bit more. We're going to throw it to a quick break. When we return, we will talk about the groups and send you off with a beautiful amount of information.